welcome to the View from Earthshine Tower, episode 3. I'm Claire, and this is Sherman, and we're here to talk a little bit about ARCs, about advanced reading copies, what they are, how you can get them, even if you're not a bookseller or an industry person, and why you should be excited about reading books early. So welcome to Earthshine Tower, and we're going to talk about books. ARCs, or advanced reading copies, galleys, manuscripts, uncorrected proofs. These are all different names for unpublished promotional books that are sent to booksellers, influencers, and other industry people so that they have the opportunity to read the book early so that they can get ready to also promote and sell the book. So this is an ARC. If you watched Claire and Milo talk about books episode 3, The Rise of Cozy Fantasy, we talk a little bit about this book. So you can see that ARCs are usually paperbacks. This one has a finished cover. Often they come with these awesome letters. So this one is Ace Penguin Random House. So this is for the Teller of Small Fortunes. You can see here it comes with a letter that's specifically addressed to booksellers and influencers, and just talking a little bit. It's got some early praise for this book, tells you when it's on sale, talks a little bit about the author, Julie Leung, and a little bit more about her. So it's got some information about the publicists. So you can, if you want to email them for any reason, you can do that. And we also have the book. So this is a Teller of Small Fortunes. You can see here that on the side it says when it comes out, which is November the 5th, 2024. On the back here, it also has that information. It tells you when it's coming out. Often they'll say things like not for sale, right? Uncorrected proof. These books are not for sale. There's no price anywhere on them. So this is not just a regular paperback. This is a special paperback that is sent to booksellers and influencers. So often on, like, if you open up the book, you'll see here there's information that they're talking about the marketing, what kind of marketing they're planning on doing for it. And there is another letter here from Julie. So Julie has actually written a letter here, and she says, "Dear reader." And she talks a little bit about her book, and often, yeah. So you can see here on this page, it's got publication information, and this one's really important. Reviewers are reminded that changes may be made in the proof copy before books are printed. If any material from the book is to be quoted in the review, the quotation should be checked against the final bound book. That's because sometimes in between when these are printed and when they actually, like the finished copies are printed, aspects of the story might change, small things might change. So they don't really want you to do quotes from the book because it might not be in the final book. As a bookseller that's working at a smaller indie store, the way I get ARCs is I request them. I specifically request them from the publishers. So usually I will email a publisher or a publicist and I'll say like, hey, I work at this store, you know, I'm interested in this book. And sometimes they'll say yes, sometimes they'll say no. Sometimes different publishers will actually have email lists, and they'll send out periodic emails with different titles that they have available for you to request. So often if there's anything that I'm interested in, I'll request it. Because it's important to me as a bookseller at a smaller store to read the books that I'm sent, I only request things that I'm really interested in, that I think that I would actually realistically order at my store or care about, because I don't want to take, there's limited quantities of these printed ones that are made. So I don't want to take them away from another bookseller that might enjoy it more than me. So that's why you can see I really only have science fiction, horror, fantasy, cozy fantasy. And so I just received I got a whole little stack of them here. Ta-da! So I actually ripped them open because I was so excited about them, but I wanted to kind of do a fun reveal with you. So I thought I can kind of share some cool stuff that was coming out and talk a little bit about ARCs. So one of my favorite companies is Orbit, and mostly because they approve a lot of my requests. I think there's only been a handful of times I requested something from Orbit, they didn't send it. Thank you, Orbit. So this is Adrian Tchaikovsky's new book, Alien Clay. So I think this is a standalone From Arthur C. Clarke and Hugo Award-winning author Adrian Tchaikovsky comes a far future epic that confirms his place as a modern master of science fiction, in which a political prisoner must unlock the secrets of a strange and dangerous planet. Yes, I'm all about this. So I'm really excited about this one. So it does come in September, which doesn't give me a lot of time to read it. So the beginning of this month, I'm just going to be powering through a few of these because I really want to figure out if I can pre-order these. So this is a September one. So this is Alien Clay by Adrian Tchaikovsky. All right, number 2. What is it? Gosh, okay. So I love Andrea Stewart. I'm so excited that I got a copy of this. I requested this, so I read this one already. I got it as an e-arc. I wasn't actually expecting them to send a physical copy, but they did, and I'm extremely excited about it. So this is Andrea Stewart's, the first book in her new trilogy, and this is called The Gods Below. From one of the biggest new stars in epic fantasy comes a sweeping tale of warring gods, loyalty, betrayal, and a world in turmoil. Oh, you guys, look at this. It's so cool. So Andrea Stewart is the author of the Bone Shard trilogy, Bone Shard Daughter. And you can see here this arc, really gorgeous. It's got all this information here that I showed you in the other book. So just talking a little bit about the book, praise for it. It tells you it's an advanced copy, right? So it says this is an uncorrected proof. Extremely excited about this. Actually, I've already read this. I pre-ordered it for my store. It is sitting on the shelf waiting for release day, and I've already written up a shelf talker for it. A shelf talker is just a little piece of paper that booksellers put out with like a mini review, just being like, yeah, we loved it, you should buy it. So yay! Thank you, Orbit. Thank you, Andrea Stewart. This book is excellent. It is really, really, really great. Okay, the third one. Oh, yes. Okay, so actually here's Andrea Stewart again. She blurbed this one. A masterpiece, unmissable. So this is The Last Hour Between Worlds by Melissa Caruso. You can see it here. And the deep echoes, no one can save you. So there is a whole list of authors on the back of this one endorsing it, authors that I really love. Alex E. Harrow, Shannon Chakraborty, Andrea Stewart, Cindy Dean, Genevieve Cogman. So high praise from all of them. This book comes out in November of 2024. So you can see here, there's a little bit of information here in this arc about what the book is about. Awesome. Oh, this is so great. I'm so excited. So just a couple of pages of praise for her other series. So extremely excited about this one. November the 19th. Yes. So this is another Orbit fantasy. Thank you, Orbit. Thank you, Orbit, for being so awesome and generally always approving my requests. The last one. Okay. And this is... I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited. So I love this author. This is H.G. Perry. So this one is coming out in October. It is historical fantasy, which is a genre that I absolutely adore. And this is The Scholar and the Last Fairy Door. Oh, incredible. Okay. The Scholar and the Last Fairy Door is a mythic magical tale full of secret scholarship, fairy curses, and the deadliest spells of all, the ones that friends cast on each other. Ah! I'm so excited. So I genuinely can't wait for this. I have a lot of other ones to get through before I get to this, but because this one's coming out in October, and I have other September ones that I want to read first. But oh, incredible! I'm so excited. I will be talking about this at some point on this channel. Something for me that's really important about getting ARCs, getting advanced reading copies of books, is the reason that I only request things that I think that I'm going to read is because, and again, this is my own opinion. I'm not speaking for other booksellers. This is just me. Because these books are promotional material. They're promotional material, which means they get sent out early. The authors do not get paid for these books going into circulation. The publishers do not get paid. These are purely books that are circulated so that booksellers, influencers, and members of the public, readers, can get a chance to read a book and get excited about it and tell people about it. And as a bookseller, something that's really important to me, part of the reason that I'm in this industry, that I love this job, is because I'm hugely passionate about authors, especially debut authors. I think that readers especially don't always know or realize how important it is to support debut authors that you enjoy, because there are so many books being published every year. There's so many books vying for readers' attention and money, right? And if a debut author does not get enough sales, it's really likely that they will not be, they'll get dropped from their, publishing contract, and a really promising series or book might not get picked up for other books. And the other thing too is most authors of my personal acquaintance, people that I actually know, writing is not their full-time job. Being an author is, something that they do after work, on the side, part-time, because this is a really, really tough industry. And it's so important to support these authors, especially debut authors. And I really want to make sure that when I'm requesting ARCs, I'm requesting things that I am going to read, I'm going to review, I'm going to order into my store, I'm going to write shelf talkers and blurbs for them, because when I'm given a book to promote, for me, part of taking a book that is, I'm not paying for, is that I really want to make sure that I am part of that hype machine, that I'm really getting, helping this author get their start. So I don't know, I don't know if anyone's been watching the Olympics, but I kind of feel like, when I get, especially a debut author, when I request a debut, I kind of feel like I'm part of a relay race, and the author and the publisher and everyone involved, so they've run around the track and they're handing me the baton or they're handing me, the baton, and I'm the last leg of the race. So I'm taking up this baton and I'm running it to the finish line, right? I'm reading it, I'm hyping it, I'm reviewing it, I'm getting people to pre-order, I'm getting people excited about it. And then on release day, we're all surging across that finish line together and, getting this book into the hands of readers. So it really is a team effort. And I feel like I'm getting, I'm being trusted with these books. And I have an opportunity to help these authors at the beginning of their careers to really make a positive entrance into the literary world, into getting these books into the hands of readers. So I'm not sure if you can see very well on the camera, but down here, so these are all books that I've reviewed for my website. And one of the very first, not the first one, but one of the very first ones that I reviewed was this one, The Warden. So this is by Daniel M. Ford. And I loved this book. I loved it. And so I reviewed it. And I also bought, as you can see here, this is the hardcover. This is a physical copy. So even though I am a bookseller, and when, by getting these ARCs and promoting them, I'm doing my job, I also like to support these authors. I spend money on their books because I want them to succeed, and I care about them. And you can see here, actually, so Daniel is incredible. So he sent me a copy of this, and he wrote a nice little inscription in it for me, and it says, to Claire with gratitude, and he signed it. So I deeply cherish this book. So that was a really, really lovely perk. And I actually was able to read the e-arc, which is a digital arc of his next book. And here's Necrobane. So not only do I feel, like when I'm getting ARCs, I'm promoting them, I'm also spending money on them, because I really, really, really want to support these authors that I care about with my own with my own hard-earned dollars. You can see here, this is John Wiswell's debut. He's an incredible short story author. He's won tons of awards, and this is his debut novel, Someone You Can Build a Nest In. If you're interested in any of these, you can read my reviews on my website. But I also ordered a copy of his book. And something that I try and do is I buy from my own bookstore, but I also like to support other indie bookstores as well. So this one I ordered a signed copy. You can see I like to keep the bookmarks in so I remember where I got them. So this is a first edition, first printing of John's book, and you can see here that he has signed it. So I ordered a signed copy because yeah, I love these authors. I want them to have long careers, and I really want to support them. So pretty much everything on my website, I read an arc. S.A. Barnes, incredible. She writes unbelievably creepy space horror. So you can see this was my arc, and I went to an event actually with Milo, so she signed this one, and I've got the finished copy here. Here's Navola, I Was a Teenage Slasher. So these are all kind of cool stuff from my website that I got signed. Yeah, so one of my personal policies as a bookseller is if I loved it, I will review it, I will promote it, I will get people to pre-order it, I will hype it, I'll sell it, but I also buy it because it's really important to me, these authors and their stories, and I'm so proud to be part of helping them find an audience. So this is how booksellers get arcs. But if you are not a bookseller or an influencer and you still want to read things early, there are lots of ways that you can do that. You can see here I've got my Kindle. So I currently have a lot of digital arcs, e-arcs. So a really great way for you to get arcs is there are a couple of websites. NetGalley is one of them, Edelweiss is another one, where you can sign up, anyone can sign up. You don't have to be in the industry at all. The only thing that you have to do is you have to commit to reviewing these books. You have to leave a review. If you don't leave enough reviews, they will stop approving you. But you can request to read digital galleys early and review them. And the reason that publishers do that is because it's not just booksellers and influencers and industry people that drive interest in books. You know, it's you. It's you telling your friends and family, like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. I'm so excited about it. I want to buy a copy. I want to support this author. I want to put it on my shelf. So that's a really great way to get arcs, is you can download digital copies. So I'll put some more information about those. I love e-arcs, honestly. Like, I mean, I really love the print ones, but the digital ones are nice because it's nice to be able to read them on a go. I can read them on my phone, I can read them on my e-reader. So that's a good option. And another option for getting arcs is going to conventions. If you have any local conventions in your town or your city, so pretty much every major convention, if there's a publisher there, they will be giving away arcs. When I was working at Emerald City Comic Con this year, Penguin Random House was there. They had a ton of arcs. San Diego Comic Con, I know like lots of publishers were there. They were giving away tons of promotional materials and arcs. Another good way to get arcs is if you follow authors on their social media, they often have giveaways. So they will be doing giveaways on their own social media, through their own websites. And Goodreads is another awesome place. They also have tons of giveaways. And it is possible to win them. I have won, I think, two Goodreads contests, just not even as a bookseller, just as a general reviewer. So it is possible to get copies of arcs through Goodreads. The only thing is you really do have to commit to reviewing these books, because if you're not reviewing them, then you won't, I mean, unless you're getting it from the author directly as a prize, then you don't get approved for things if you don't kind of put the time into reviewing them. So that is, that's one thing just to keep in mind, is that if you are requesting things, try and request only stuff that you're interested in, that you'll finish reading, that you'll review, because if you don't review it, then they'll stop sending you things. This is Dungeon Crawler Carl. So Matt Dinniman is a local author for me. He's a Seattle-based author, and we've talked a little bit about this one before. So this book is actually released. It was released on August the 27th, and this is a lit RPG. So it is a really fun book about two dungeon crawlers, Dungeon Crawler Carl and his cat, Princess Donut, and the Earth has been essentially turned into a giant dungeon for an alien game show, and Carl and Donut have to survive this dungeon, and it's really funny, it's really exciting. If you've ever played any video game, kind of like RPG video games, dungeon crawling video games, you will love this. It's a hoot. You don't have to know anything about those type of games to enjoy it. It's very funny. So this is the first book. It was just released on August the 27th. So Milo is planning the launch. This is the traditional release of Dungeon Crawler Carl. So Milo is planning that book launch, and I'm going to take you to the launch. And I think Milo is also planning to debrief a little bit after the event and talk about what it's like to plan a big book launch, and it's going to be really exciting. So if you've read this book and enjoyed it, so this is the arc for the second book. So this one is not out until September the 24th. So because these were indie releases, Matt has actually, I think there's 6 books in the series out. There are 3 that have been licensed for traditional release. So I think so the first one came out in August. This is getting released at the end of September. So I'll just kind of show it off here. Whoa, this is so cool. So you can see here, this is an arc. It's got September 24th, 2024. It's got a little bit of information about it here on the back. It's pretty cool. So this one's coming out in September, and I'm pretty sure that the third one is releasing in October. So if you have read the first book in the series or you're interested in them, they're going to be coming out in pretty quick succession. So yeah, highly recommend these. So our next episode of Claire and Milo Talk About Books, we are going to be going to the Matt Dinniman event that Milo is planning for the University Bookstore. And you'll get to see how a professional event planner plans events. And yeah, so that event should be a lot of fun. So make sure if you're interested in this or you're interested about event planning, Milo is going to be talking all about their process as an event planner, and we're going to be talking all about this book. So please join us for Claire and Milo Talk About Books, episode 4, which is going to be the dungeon crawling episode. It's going to be really, really exciting. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. Please like and subscribe. It really helps support our channel, and we'll see you next week.